every new iPhone. So that's the way better than expected iPhone 17, this shockingly thin new iPhone Air, and then the big boys, the 17 Pro and Pro Max. I'm not gonna lie to you, after the very slow event last year, this one is a complete reshuffle. Like, this one changes how I see the entire iPhone lineup. Because it starts with the basic iPhone 17, which, you know, when you first look at it, it's almost identical to the iPhone 16 last year. The same camera layout, the same buttons, super familiar design. But then you turn it on and you realize this is not a basic iPhone anymore.
Okay. All right. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I don't know, guys. Is it me or has the excitement wore off? Now, let me just say I am a diehard Apple. I love Apple. I've used them for a very long time. Um, Bay Area, born and raised. Got lots of love for the Apple. I've been drinking apple juice for a long time. That being said, this new iPhone, the energy just seems lackluster to me. Um, I I have an Apple, um, what's it, MacBook Pro here. It's great, fantastic. Um, I don't think I've updated my phone in maybe 7 years. It's been that great. Uh, so that's a testament to the good, solid products. But as far as innovation goes, I don't look at Apple anymore for innovation. I remember they used to have innovation after innovation. Now it's more, I don't know. Are you guys rushing to go get the new Apple? I'd be curious to know. Um, I don't know anyone that is talking about it, and no one in my friend group was talking about it. And there used to be this energy around it. It's kind of wore off, and I don't think people are. I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know what I'm curious to know what you guys think. Are you guys gonna buy a new one? I'm very curious to get your thoughts on that. I'm when I have to, I will, obviously, but I don't have to right now. And I don't have a deep burning desire to buy a new $2,000 phone or however much it's going to cost. But yeah, this story caught me because Apple has kind of lost its luster. At this point, they're more of a. I mean, they make a solid product. I'm not bashing the product at all. I have an iPhone and I have the iPhone, the laptop, I have the Apple AirPods. I have them all. So or earpods. I don't know what they're called, but um, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like the energy is not there. Let's see what else is the new features are here.
In fact, this is a full-on Pro iPhone now. Like the display, it's got the same size body, but it's now a 6.3-inch screen compared to 6.1, which also means the bezels are now the thinnest ever on an iPhone. And yes, sometimes these bezel improvements need a microscope for you to be able to tell. Not this one. It is pretty immediately obvious when you look at this compared to the previous phone. It's got a tougher ceramic shield 2 coating on it. They say it's 3 times more resistant to scratches, but to be fair, I'm pretty sure the random particles in my pocket will still find a way. But also, this is like the easiest to read that an iPhone display has ever been. Even in this super bright room where you can kind of tell that my older 16 is struggling. And that's partly the fact that the 17 now has the Pro's 3000 nits of brightness, but it also has an anti-reflective coating, which we've never had on an iPhone. So have a look here. You know where the light is hitting the screens? Can you see how there is a little bit less of a visual interruption from it now? And it's all topped off with ProMotion, meaning that this is now a 120Hz display that can also go all the way down to 1Hz for the always-on mode. And I mean, on one hand, they had to do this eventually. We've given the iPhone like a once-a-year annual roasting session every time Apple has announced a new phone that still happens to have a 60Hz display. But then on the other hand, it's just so un-Apple to actually release a Pro-branded feature on the base iPhone. Some part of me still thought that this phone would forever be doomed because the kinds of people buying it just wouldn't care about 120Hz. I've never been more glad to be wrong. The cameras are better too. The ultra-wide has gone from 12 megapixel to 48, which is in line with the Pros, and that will also improve your close-up macro photography because it uses the same camera, with also this ability to record from both the front camera and your rear cameras at the same time. I don't really know what this is for. I can't imagine this becoming the next TikTok meta, but the implementation is slick. I do like how you can drag the bubble to decide where you want your face cam to be, and then how that reflects in the final footage. But the
I gotta be honest, this is kind of a snooze fest. Not the content creator, but just Apple's products. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. And they really need to get back to the good old days of innovation. That when I lived in the Bay Area and you met someone, all they would talk about was innovation. Then getting what is Steve Jobs? Think about the user first. User in mind. I don't know. Who was the guy that was credited for a lot of their innovation? Johnny Ive or something like that? I don't know. This I'm waiting for something that will say, "Oh, you know what? That's actually." I think they did just come out with the new Apple Translate for the pods or whatever. I mean, that's cool. I'll give them credit for that one. But all right, let's I'm gonna let this play for a little bit longer and we'll see what happens. Maybe there's something coming around the corner that I just didn't see.
Really interesting thing that no one saw coming is what is happening with the front camera. So they upgraded the camera from being able to take 12 megapixel photos to now taking 18 megapixel ones, but this is now a square camera sensor, which means you can take vertical selfies and you can take horizontal selfies no matter which way you're holding the phone up. This is so cool. The shots are wider than before, they're more detailed than before, and it also has center stage, which means the camera can automatically go out wider and follow you around when you're on a FaceTime call. It really does feel like, after years of purposefully nerfing the base iPhones to keep the pros as attractive as possible, Apple's just decided that this year is the year that they rip the band-aid off entirely. Like, apart from the missing telephoto camera, there is such little missing here that I think this is by far the best value phone in the lineup. Because the iPhone 17 now also charges faster than last generation 16. It has an extra 8 hours of battery life if you're watching videos, at least according to Apple. It's got the new A19 chip, which doesn't feel like a mind-blowing upgrade, but still, that's an extra 20% performance. And then, in like the most un-Apple-like move ever, they upgraded the storage to 256 gigs from 128. And the moment they said that, I was so sure, like I'd already started writing that they were going to bump the price up to $899, but they didn't. This is the same $799 starting price as last year. Honestly, if I'd bought an iPhone 16 at full price, I'd be crying right now. But then we've got the completely new $999 iPhone Air. And this is where things get very interesting. So this is Apple's latest attempt at filling that awkward middle child slot in their lineup. In 2020, they made the iPhone mini, but then realized that no one wanted mini phones. Then in 2022, they changed that for the Plus, which failed too because it just didn't do enough differently. So instead of shrinking or stretching, Apple's decided that now it's time to try flattening. And I'm going to be honest with you, this phone absolutely creates an impression. Like, the first time I picked the thing up, my mouth involuntarily formed a silent O as I truly came to terms with how, at 5.6 millimeters, this is thinner than any previous iPhone. This is thinner than Samsung's ultra-slim Galaxy S25 Edge. The thing's thinner than a pencil. But the other thing is, it also feels a lot more luxury than I was expecting it to. When I watched the thing get announced, I thought, oh, it looks kind of flimsy and so light that it's a bit cheap. It really doesn't feel it, especially with this glossy titanium rail going all the way around the sides and the ceramic shield that you've now got on the back. I think the 17 Air is made for the kind of person who cares enough about their phone to not just take the base 17, but also someone who isn't so into the specs that they'll worry about what they're missing compared to the pros. And I think if you are that kind of person, you will look at this Air, you will compare it to all past experiences you've had with iPhones, and you will think, this is a miracle. But I see this product kind of like the really hot girl that you probably shouldn't try to date. You know it's bad news. You
guys let me know what you think if you're gonna go buy one. I'm kind of snoozing over here, so no diss to Apple. I just innovation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to this video if you guys want to go check it out. All right, we'll catch you in the next one.